My name is Evelyn. This is my story. It is a story about love, and it is a story about lost memories. My husband's lost memories. Before, my life was simple and very happy. I was married to a wonderful man. His name was Mark. We lived in a small house with a yellow door. We had a little garden. Mark loved to grow tomatoes. I loved to read books in our sunny living room. We were not rich, but we had everything we needed. We had each other. Mark was kind. He had a warm smile. His eyes were blue like the summer sky. He always knew how to make me laugh, even when I was sad. We talked about everything, our dreams, our fears, little things from our day. He was my best friend. He was my husband. I loved him more than words can say. We met in college. I was shy then. He was not. He talked to me first. He said he liked my smile. We started talking. We became friends. Then, we fell in love. It felt easy. It felt right. He asked me to marry him on a rainy afternoon. Under a big tree in a park, I cried. I said yes. Of course I said yes. Our wedding day was beautiful. Small, with our family and close friends. I remember looking at Mark. He was so handsome. He looked at me with so much love. I felt like the luckiest woman in the world. We promised to love each other forever, in good times and in bad times. I thought our good times would last forever. I did not know how hard the bad times could be. We had many happy years. We built our life together. We painted our house. We chose furniture. We cooked dinners together. Sometimes we burned the food. But we laughed. We traveled to a few places. We walked on beaches. We saw mountains. Every memory was precious. Every moment with him was a gift. I thought our life would always be like this. Safe, happy, full of love. I believed our future was clear, growing old together, watching our children, if we had them, sitting on our porch, holding hands. That was my dream, a simple dream. Then, one Tuesday, everything changed. It was a normal day. Mark went to work. He kissed me goodbye. He said, "I love you, Evelyn." I said, "I love you too, Mark. Be careful." I always said that. Be careful. That afternoon, I got a phone call, a call from the hospital. My heart stopped. The voice on the phone was calm. Too calm. "Mrs. Evelyn?" they asked. "Your husband, Mark, has been in an accident." An accident. A bad accident. Those words. They hit me like a stone. I could not breathe. I rushed to the hospital. My hands were shaking. My mind was a mess. I prayed. Please, God, let him be okay. Please. I waited for hours in the cold hospital hallway. Doctors and nurses walked by. They looked serious. I felt so small, so scared. Finally, a doctor came to talk to me. He looked tired. He said Mark was alive. Thank God. But he was hurt badly. He had a head injury. A serious head injury. They let me see him. He was in a white room. Machines beeped around him. He was sleeping. or maybe he was unconscious. His face was pale. He had bruises. I held his hand. It felt cold. I whispered his name. Mark. Mark, can you hear me? It's Evelyn. I'm here. He did not move. Tears ran down my face. I sat by his bed for days. I talked to him. I read to him. I hoped he could hear me. I hoped he would wake up. And then he did. After many long days, he opened his eyes. My heart jumped with joy. Mark, I cried. You're awake! He looked at me, his blue eyes. But they were different. They were confused, empty. There was no light in them, no recognition. He just stared at me. Who are you? He whispered. His voice was weak. My smile froze. My blood turned cold. Mark, it's me, I said, my voice trembling. It's Evelyn, your wife. He frowned. He looked around the room slowly, then back at me. Wife? He said. I don't have a wife. My world shattered. It broke into a million tiny pieces. The doctor came in. He talked to Mark. He asked him questions. What is your name? He knew. His name was Mark. Where are you? He did not know. What year is it? He did not know. And then the doctor pointed to me. Do you know this woman? Mark looked at me again. A long, searching look. I held my breath. Please, Mark, please remember me. But he shook his head slowly. No, he said. I'm sorry. I've never seen her before. I was a stranger to the man I loved. My husband, the man I shared my life with, my dreams with. He did not know me. He didn't recognize his own wife. The doctors explained it later. Amnesia, caused by the head injury. He had lost many years of his memory. He remembered his childhood. He remembered his parents. He remembered being a young man. But he did not remember me. He did not remember our marriage, our life together. It was all gone, wiped clean from his mind. The doctor said, sometimes memories come back, sometimes they don't. We have to wait and see. Be patient. Patient. How could I be patient? My heart was breaking. Every beat was painful. I felt like I was drowning. The man I loved was there, in front of me. But he was also gone. Bringing Mark home was the hardest day. Our home. Our little house with the yellow door. It was full of our memories, our photos on the wall, the books I read. The chair he always sat in. For me, every corner whispered our story. For him, it was just a strange house. He looked around, confused. He did not recognize anything. He walked into our bedroom. Our bed. He looked at my things on the dressing table, my perfume, my hairbrush. He looked lost. Is this my room? He asked. It's our room, Mark, I said softly. My voice was weak. He looked at me, still a stranger. I don't understand, he said. You say you are my wife, but I don't feel it. I don't remember you. I slept in the guest room that night. I couldn't sleep next to him. It felt wrong. He was my husband, but he felt like a stranger. I cried all night, quietly. I didn't want him to hear me. I felt so alone, even though he was in the next room. The days that followed were slow and painful. I tried to help him remember. I showed him our photo albums, pictures of our wedding, us smiling, on holidays, us with our families, our friends. He looked at them carefully, like he was studying for a test. He saw a man in the photos who looked like him, but he said, "That man looks happy. I don't know him." I told him stories about our life, how we met, our first date, funny things that happened. He listened politely. Sometimes he asked questions, but his eyes were still distant. He was trying. I could see him trying. But the memories were locked away. One day, I played our favorite song, a song we danced to at our wedding, a song we always sang together in the car. I hoped it would spark something, a little flicker of memory. He listened. He said, "It's a nice song." That was all. Just a nice song, not our song. My heart ached. Our friends came to visit. They were careful. They tried to be normal. But it was awkward. Mark didn't know them. He smiled politely. He tried to follow the conversations. But he was quiet, lost. Our friends looked at me with sad eyes. I tried to be strong. I tried to smile. But inside, I was crumbling. Living with him was like living with a ghost. He looked like Mark. He sounded like Mark sometimes. But the connection, the love, the shared history, it was gone. He was kind to me, in a distant, polite way. He would say, "Thank you, Evelyn. You are very good to me." He said it like I was a kind nurse or a helpful stranger. Not his wife. Not the love of his life. I cooked his favorite meals. He ate them. He said they were good. But he didn't say, "Oh, this is my favorite like you always make it." He didn't know it was his favorite. Sometimes I saw flashes of the old Mark. A way he laughed at a joke on TV. The way he fixed the leaky tap in the kitchen. Small things. They gave me a tiny bit of hope. But then he would look at me, and I was still a stranger in his eyes. The loneliness was a heavy weight. It pressed down on me all the time. I missed him so much. I missed my Mark. The Mark who held my hand. The Mark who kissed me goodnight. The Mark who knew my heart. This new Mark was a puzzle. A painful puzzle. I talked to his doctor often. "Is there anything more I can do?" I asked. The doctor was kind, but honest. "Memory is complex, Evelyn," he said. "We cannot force it. You are doing everything you can. Just be there for him." Be there for him? Yes, I would be there for him. I loved him. I made a promise. In good times and in bad times. This was the worst of times. But I would not break my promise. Some days, I felt angry. Angry at the accident. Angry at the unfairness of it all. Why us? Why Mark? Why me? Other days, I felt deep sadness. A sadness that filled every part of me. I would go into our garden, the garden Mark loved. I would look at his tomato plants. He hadn't touched them since the accident. I started watering them, trying to keep them alive, just like I was trying to keep our love alive. I remember one afternoon. I was looking at our wedding photo, the one on our bedside table. Mark walked into the room. He saw me holding it. He came closer. He looked at the photo. Then he looked at me. "We look happy," he said quietly. "We were," I replied, my voice choked with tears. "We were very happy." He reached out. For a moment I thought he would touch my face. My heart leaped, but he just touched the photo. His finger traced his own smiling face. Then my smiling face. "I wish I could remember," he said. His voice was full of sadness, his own sadness, for the life he lost, for the person he was. In that moment, I saw his pain. Not just my pain. His pain, too. He was lost. He was confused. He was scared. Just like me. That day, something shifted in me. I realized I couldn't keep pushing him to remember the past. It was hurting him. It was hurting me. Maybe the old Mark was gone. For now. Or maybe forever. But this Mark, the man standing in front of me, he was real. He was here. And he needed me. Not just as a memory jogger, but as a friend, as someone to help him navigate this strange new life. I started to change my approach. I stopped talking so much about the past. I started talking about today, about simple things, the weather, the birds in the garden, a funny story I read in a book. I tried to make our home feel safe for him, comfortable, not a museum of a life. He couldn't recall. We started taking short walks together, in the park nearby. He liked the trees. He liked watching the dogs play. We didn't talk much, but it was a peaceful silence. Sometimes he would ask me questions about myself, not about us, but about me. What books I liked, what food I enjoyed. It was like getting to know each other for the first time. Again, it was strange and hard, so very hard. Some nights I still cried myself to sleep. I missed the intimacy, the easy comfort of our old life. But during the days, I tried to be positive. For him, and for myself. I had to find a new way, a new path. One evening, we were sitting in the living room. I was reading. He was looking out the window. It was raining, just a soft rain. "Evelyn," he said suddenly. I looked up. "Yes, Mark?" "Thank you," he said. He looked at me. His eyes were still not full of memory, but they were softer, kinder. "Thank you for being so patient with me, for being here." My heart warmed a little. "Of course, Mark," I said, "I'm here." He didn't say, "I love you." He didn't say, "I remember." But it was something, a small step, a tiny seed of connection in this barren land of forgotten memories. I started to find small joys in our new routine, the way he smiled when I brought him his morning tea, The way he sometimes asked for my opinion on something. He started to help in the garden a little. He said he liked the feel of the earth in his hands. He didn't remember growing tomatoes before, but he seemed to enjoy planting new flowers with me. We were building something new, slowly, carefully, brick by brick. It wasn't our old life. It couldn't be. The foundation of shared memories was gone. But maybe, just maybe, we could build a new house, on new ground. There were still many hard days, days when I felt hopeless, days when he was frustrated and withdrawn. He saw doctors. He had tests. No magic cure. No sudden return of everything he had lost. The doctors said some memories might never come back. I had to accept that. It was a difficult acceptance, like grieving for someone who was still alive, grieving for the life we had, the future we had planned. But then, there were small moments of grace. One afternoon, he found an old guitar in the closet. It was his guitar. He used to play it for me. He picked it up. He looked at it for a long time. Then his fingers slowly found some chords. A simple tune. He didn't remember learning it, but his fingers remembered. He played a short, hesitant melody. He looked up at me, a small, shy smile on his face. "I didn't know I could do that," he said. I smiled back, tears in my eyes. "It was beautiful, Mark." A piece of the old Mark, a tiny spark. It was enough to keep me going. Months passed, almost a year. Our life had a new rhythm, a quiet rhythm. I learned to live with the Mark he was now, not the Mark he used to be. I still loved him, deeply. But it was a different kind of love, a love that was more patient, more understanding, a love that had to be rebuilt from ashes. One sunny morning, we were having breakfast. He was reading the newspaper. I was watching him. He looked up and caught my eye. He smiled, a genuine, warm smile. Not the polite smile of a stranger, but a smile that reached his eyes. "Good morning, Evelyn," he said. "Good morning, Mark," I replied. He paused. Then he said, "You know, Evelyn, I don't remember our past. I still don't, and I am so sorry for that. It must be so hard for you." I nodded. My throat felt tight. He reached across the table. He gently took my hand. His hand was warm, familiar. "But," he continued, looking into my eyes, "I know one thing. I like this life. With you. Here. Now. You are kind. You are strong. You make me feel safe. Happy even." My heart started to beat faster. "Evelyn," he said, his voice soft. "I don't remember falling in love with you before, but I think I am falling in love with you all over again. The new me, with the new you in my life." Tears streamed down my face. Happy. Tears. Tears of relief. Tears of hope. "Oh, Mark," I whispered, "I am falling in love with you all over again, too." He squeezed my hand. "Maybe," he said, a small smile playing on his lips. "Maybe this is our new beginning." He still didn't remember everything. The big memories, our wedding, our first home, those were still lost in the fog. Sometimes a tiny piece would surface, a name, a place, a feeling. But it was like finding a single grain of sand on a vast beach. But what we had now was real. It was new. And it was ours. He chose me again. Not based on old memories, but based on who we were, together, in the present. Our life was not the life I dreamed of when I was young. It was harder. It was more complicated. But it was also deeper, stronger. We learned that love is not just about shared memories. Love is about commitment, about patience, about choosing each other every single day. He didn't recognize his wife after the accident. For a long time, I was a stranger to him. But slowly, day by day, we found each other again. Or maybe we found a new way to be together. A new love story written on a blank page. If you are listening to my story, perhaps you are going through a difficult time. Perhaps life has surprised you with something hard, something you did not expect. Please do not lose hope. It is okay to feel sad. It is okay to feel lost. But remember, even in the darkest moments, there can be light. Sometimes, love needs to find a new path, a different way. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with others. And keep your heart open. You are stronger than you think. And new beginnings are possible, even when it feels like everything is lost. Thank you for listening to my story.